It's your boy Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Gonna weigh in on some GOAT conversation. Y'all already know what I'm talking about. LeBron came out strong with some words this week. Big strong. Said that one right there. Coming back 3-1. Made him greatest of all time. You already know how Chicago get down with that greatest of all time word. You already know how Chicago gets down. So I'm here to talk about it. Let's get it cracking. Let's start the conversation off right. I'm going to just start with my opinion on it. I believe when it's all said and done, when it comes down to it, for somebody to say that they are the greatest of all time, you're basically saying that you're the greatest across any era of the sport, across any era of the game you play ever being played. You're saying that you are the best there has ever been. And that's tough for me in the beginning. But at the end of the day, you got to look at what the word GOAT means. Greatest of all time, greatest ever, greatest to ever do it. And in my opinion, it's tough to say that with certain sports. I think in certain sports you can, but I think in certain sports that's tough to say. I believe in football you can say someone is the greatest of all time. And I say that for this reason. In certain sports, the game has changed completely. Like, it's not even the same game as we remember. In the NFL, the game has not changed that much. The game is not that far-fetched from what we originally saw. Yes, we are in more of a passing league now, but the game has not transcended that much. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube right now. Make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all share the video. Appreciate all the love. The game in the NFL has not changed that much. So when I come out and I say that Tom Brady is the greatest of all time, Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback to ever play in the NFL. That means that in any era, he would have been the greatest quarterback to ever play in the NFL. And I honestly feel that. There's no question in my mind. And I think there's a lot of people that there's no question that Tom Brady is the greatest player to ever play the game of football. But when it comes to basketball, the game has changed so much. Can you call someone a GOAT? Can you call someone the greatest of their era? That's tough for me. It's one of those things. I feel like that if you're the GOAT in the NBA, that means that you feel that you could dominate any era of basketball. And I think that's tough for me because could LeBron do what he does now if he's driving in the paint and he's got Stockton and Malone down there throwing elbows to your face and no refs calling a foul? Can you do that with Patrick Ewing going into the paint? Yeah, you going in strong. Oh, he just hit you in the throat. No refs calling a foul. I think it's just a different league. Shout out to Sierra. I see you, CC. What's good? Shout out to the homie Ringo J. He on the live right now. I think it's just a different league. You know what I'm saying? Like, even in baseball, I feel like you can't be a GOAT in baseball. Because, you know, people say that Babe Ruth is the greatest hitter ever. People say that Hank Aaron is the greatest hitter ever. It was a different league. Can you say that someone is the GOAT of a league when the league has changed entirely? Think about the NBA alone. Think about the NBA alone. The NBA alone, Reggie Miller wouldn't think of taking the amount of threes in 15 games that these guys take in one. Think about that. Think about that. The NBA has changed. Can you be the GOAT? Can you be the GOAT? A lot of people say that LeBron is the GOAT. A lot of people say that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. But can you really be the GOAT of a league that is entirely different from where you first began? That's my question. That's my question. A league that has totally changed where it began from. A league that has totally gone from we're here to take it inside, dominate the paint. And they've gone to, let's have centers shooting threes. Let's have these big men on the outside pulling. That's the question. Can you be the GOAT in a league that is totally changed? That's my question. I see a lot of people coming at LeBron for saying that he was the GOAT and saying that he's very not he wasn't humble about it. You know, he should humble himself some more. He shouldn't be calling himself the GOAT, you know, blah, blah. Michael never called himself the GOAT. I don't have a problem with that. We're in a different age. We're in a different day. I think the biggest problem that I have with LeBron calling himself the GOAT is that means that you feel that no one, including the people you're playing with now, can match up to you. And maybe he does. In all honesty, that's what an athlete should say. Like, you can't diss an athlete for saying something like that. Like, I love the people that are coming at him for saying something like that, but maybe he does feel that way. But the thing is, I think it's more disrespectful to the guys that are gonna see you every night, that are gonna see you on your team, on the practice, and yeah, they know you're better than them, but it's competition, you know. Not to say that I have a huge issue with it, but I think that was my only thing that I really looked at. But can LeBron be the GOAT? I mean, that's the real question, right? Can LeBron be the GOAT? Because I think that when it comes down to it, we look at LeBron James and we see what's happening now. We see what's in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that LeBron is an amazing player. I think that LeBron is one of the best players to ever play this game. I think that from a player point of view, from a player standpoint, there is no physical specimen like LeBron James. There is no person who can do it like LeBron James did. He's 6'8", 260. And he is one of the most agile, quick players we have in this league right now. That is amazing. That is amazing. But can he be the GOAT? That's the question. Can he be the GOAT? I honestly feel that LeBron James at the end of the day is the best player of this era, but is he the GOAT? Is he somebody who could do this in any era? And I think that's my biggest question with it. I think that the whole GOAT argument comes down to our perception or what was happening in the moment when we saw a championship take place, or when we saw somebody take that mantle of GOAT status in our books. I think that's the biggest thing. You know what I'm saying? Like for people in Chicago, Michael Jordan is the GOAT because of the memories he gave us. Michael Jordan is the GOAT because of the good times he gave us. Because Michael Jordan came out and he always showed fight. He always showed grit no matter the opponent. That's why Michael claimed that mantle of GOAT originally. But people don't get that from highlights. These young people who are watching right now, and it's usually not the old heads that are saying LeBron is the GOAT. It's usually these young guys that are watching right now. These young guys that are watching right now, you think they care about Michael Jordan highlights from the 90s? You think they care about Michael Jordan highlights from the 90s? Nobody has an attention span anymore. That's why they think LeBron is the GOAT. And the fact that he's doing what he's doing. I think the GOAT argument is stupid because you can never compare eras in the NBA. You just can't. The game is too different. It's too different. Yes, Michael Jordan won more championships. Michael Jordan was perfect. Michael Jordan is the greatest player that the 90s ever saw. We're live on YouTube, live on Facebook right now. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you share the video. I'd appreciate it. But is LeBron James the GOAT? Do you have a problem with LeBron James saying that he's the GOAT? Mike Fife on the Facebook page. Question. But what's wrong with what LeBron is doing? I don't think there's anything wrong with what LeBron's doing. I don't have an issue with what LeBron's doing. I think that LeBron, my only issue with it is I feel that while you're playing, it might be a little bit disrespectful. Like other players may take it a little bit disrespectful that you say that you're the greatest to ever play, but you know, take it like Steph Curry. Steph Curry can say, well, I mean, I've beaten you more than you beaten me, so how are you better? Yes, Steph's got a better team, but he could take it that way. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it's more, that's my only issue with him saying it, but I have no issue with it because I love the competition. I think the Muzz are going to start going at Brown because of that. I think it's just going to make the league better because he said this. But the question is, can you call yourself the GOAT of a league that is totally different, a league that is totally changed? Can you call yourself the GOAT of that league? Shout out to the producer. I see you on the YouTube live right now. Can you call yourself the GOAT? Can LeBron James sit there and say that he could outdo what Michael Jordan did in the 90s right now? That's my only issue with what guys are saying when they call themselves the GOAT, when they call themselves the greatest of all time. Because, listen, I don't know if Michael Jordan could do what he did in the 90s in this era, just because I believe that there are more agile, athletic players in this era than there were in the 90s. I believe in the 90s it was a stronger league. Everybody was so strong. Everybody was coming in. It was banging on the boards. It was fighting through screens. It was a grind every game. I don't know if LeBron James could do that in the 90s. But at the same time, I don't know how Michael Jordan will fare against a league that is all shooting. He might be great. LeBron might be great in the 90s. But you see what I'm saying? The argument of greatest of all time. Can you call yourself the GOAT? I think there's a lot. I think, like in football, I don't think there's a lot of questions. I don't think there's a lot of people who are saying Tom Brady's not the GOAT. I don't think there's a lot of people saying that this guy from this era is way better than Tom Brady ever thought he would be. There's a lot of people still saying that about LeBron James right now. But does that make them wrong? Does that make LeBron James not the greatest of all time? That's the question. You know what I'm saying? Like, LeBron, what he is doing right now, people need to enjoy because we're never going to see a player like this again. If you think Zion Williamson is going to come in and be LeBron James, I hate to tell you this, but you are sorely mistaken. But the question is, could he do this in the 90s? Could he do this in the 80s? There's people that watched Magic Johnson that refuse to believe that Michael Jordan is the GOAT. The GOAT conversation is all about where you were. It's all about where you were when you watch this. And I hate to tell you this, but people that are younger, people that are from the early 2000s era that really just watched Kobe, people that are from the later 2000s, 2010 to now, that really were getting into basketball then, they don't care about your highlights, bro. In their mind, a highlight reel, everybody looks good in a highlight reel. You put Steven Jackson's highlight reel together. I love Steven Jackson. He brought grit. He brought grind. But you put his highlight reel together, he looks like one of the best players to ever do it. But was he? These young dudes don't care about your highlight reels, bro. These young dudes care about what they're seeing in front of them right now. These young basketball fans, I don't want to just say dudes. These young basketball fans care about what's in front of their faces right now. They do not care about what they were watching on a highlight reel on NBA TV. And you're going to tell them that Michael Jordan's the GOAT. They don't care about your highlight reels, bro. They just don't. That's what we got to understand. That's what we got to understand. We're live on YouTube. We're live on Facebook right now. It's Pat the Designer here on Windy City The Breeze, YouTube and Facebook live right now. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share the video. We appreciate all the love. Yeah, these young dudes don't care about your highlight reels, Mike. They don't. And listen, I saw Michael Jordan. I saw him late in life. I was very young, but I saw Michael Jordan. And let me tell you something. Late in life, late in his career, my fault. Let me tell you something. He was amazing. But let me tell you something else. So was Kobe. So was LeBron. These guys were greats of their eras, and that is why you cannot compare eras. These games are totally different. These games are totally different, bro. It's not the same league. It's not the same league in the slightest, and that's why I think you can't call yourself a GOAT in the NBA. I think you can be the greatest of your era. I don't think you can be a GOAT, the greatest of all time. First off, if we're going to talk that, nobody can take Bill Russell's mantle. Bill Russell won 11. Hey, you chimed in with me, Mike. You're absolutely right. Bill Russell won 11. Nobody can take that mantle. That's what I'm saying. But you can't, but I would not say that Bill Russell is the greatest player to ever play this game. By no means. By no means would I say that. I would say he's one of the best centers to play this game, but I don't think Bill Russell could hold Shaq. I don't think Bill Russell could hold a lot of these guys. But that's the point. Ryan Scott, how many of y'all seen Russell play? Cut it out. Listen, I'm not saying that Bill Russell wasn't great. I'm sure nobody on here right now saw Russell play. If you saw Russell play, you probably don't know how to use Facebook. But this is the thing. At the end of the day, you can't be a GOAT in the NBA, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. You can't be a GOAT in the NBA because I feel like everything's too different. When Bill Russell was doing it, Bill Russell was the coach. Bill Russell coming in like, yeah, the starting five is me and the rest of you guys. Let's get it done. You know what I'm saying? The eras are so different, even from the 90s to now. I think LeBron James is one of the greatest to ever do it. Greatest small forward, hands down. Nobody can touch what the man is doing right now. Nobody can touch what LeBron James is doing right now. But can you say definitively that he would have done this in the 90s? Maybe he would have. But it's a lot tougher when guys are allowed to punch you in the face. Ryan Scott, different eras, you're right. Hey, bro, that's all I'm trying to get across. I don't think that, see, everybody always wants to hate on one era or the other, the old heads and the new heads. Everybody always wants to hate. You know what I'm saying? The 90s was so simple. They didn't have no zone. Michael couldn't beat a zone. Michael couldn't beat his own. But the old heads be on that same thing. Oh, shoot. LeBron wouldn't have been able to handle that contact coming through the hole. How do you know? How do you know? And that's my point. That's my point. You don't know. The fact that we question, the fact that we have these arguments, that's why I say you can't have the GOAT conversation in the NBA. That's why I say that. That's why I say you can't have the GOAT conversation, because there's too many questions. Talk to somebody who watched Magic from LA and tell me they don't think Magic is the greatest player to ever touch a basketball. Talk to somebody from LA who watched Kobe and tell me they don't think Kobe Bryant isn't the greatest player to ever touch a basketball. You tell me that. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube right now. Make sure y'all subscribe to Windy City Debris on YouTube and on Facebook. Make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all share the video. We appreciate the love. Y'all tell me that. Tell me that in every era, there isn't questions. Is Kobe better than LeBron? I'd take LeBron over Kobe. Kobe got more rings. Kobe got it done more times. There's questions. And I believe if there's questions, can you really be the GOAT? Can you really be the GOAT? Yes, statistically, LeBron is one of the best to ever do it. Don't get me wrong. Do not mishear me. LeBron is one of the best to ever do it statistically. LeBron is one of the best to ever do it. But at the same time, Kobe was one of the best to ever do it. At the same time, Michael was one of the best to ever do it. You cannot compare eras. So can you be the GOAT in the NBA? That's the question. That's the question. Because if you got questions on who's great and who's not, if I can come to you and say, well, LeBron couldn't have done it here. Well, Michael couldn't have done it here. Well, Magic couldn't have done it here. Well, Kobe couldn't have done it here. Can you really be a GOAT? Can you really be a GOAT? That's the question. Mike Fife on the Facebook page. Jordan, Kobe, Shaq, Magic, LeBron, Tim, all play in eras. All plays in their eras too. Get it done while they were playing. You're right, bro. But can you be the GOAT? Who would be the GOAT? Shout out to Unc on the Facebook page. I see you. That's the thing. That's where the question comes in. And I believe, I mean, you look at it. Think about the NFL. Who's arguing? Who's arguing that Tom Brady isn't the greatest quarterback of all time? I'm from Chicago. Walter Payton, in my opinion, greatest running back of all time. In my opinion, greatest running back of all time, because he was a full football player. But listen, there's people from Dallas that would say Emmitt Smith is the greatest running back of all time. There's people in Detroit that'll say Barry Sanders is the greatest running back of all time. So there's questions there. I believe there's certain places you just can't have that GOAT conversation. And I believe the NBA is one of them. I believe the NFL hasn't changed enough over the years for you to not be able to have that conversation. The NBA has changed dramatically. Can you imagine if Reggie Miller was taking 15 threes a game? Reggie Miller wasn't taking 15 threes in 5 games. He was getting maybe 2, 3 a game. I guess that equals out to 15. My math ain't the greatest, is why I'm talking sports. I'm just saying, can you be the GOAT in the NBA, in a league where eras change dramatically? Can you say that Michael Jordan definitively would dominate this league? Yeah, I think he would. I'm very biased. But I think Michael would kill this league. I think Michael could come out and drop 50 every night. I think Michael could do what Russell Westbrook is doing right now. Triple-double every night. I believe that wholeheartedly. But how would Mike deal with zone defense? How would Mike deal with different schemes that are thrown at him? Yes, he was great. Wasn't a lot of zone for Mike. But at the same time, Mike getting to the bucket, somebody got an elbow in his eyeball. No foul. That's no foul. We call it no foul on that. Mike Fife on the Facebook. What is the definition of the GOAT? Is it rings? I mean, at the end of the day, why do you play sports? Do you play sports for stats or do you play sports for championships? Now, there's a lot of great players who don't get rings, i.e. Charles Barkley, i.e. Karl Malone, Chris Webber. We can go on. The list is vast. But what makes you the GOAT? You got to bring rings into the conversation, bro. Do I think that LeBron isn't one of the greatest physical specimens to ever do it? Bro, he's amazing. If you watch the man play, the gift of basketball that he has is amazing, bro. But at the end of the day, if you're defining GOAT, it is about winning. But why do we skew it only to Michael? You know what I'm saying? Bill had 11. We don't ever bring Bill into the conversation. Kobe had 5. Michael had 6. Those are the guys we bring into the conversation when rings come up, right? It's a culmination of everything. And in my opinion, you want to know what GOAT status is? In my opinion, it's about where you were, where you grew up, what feelings you have when you watch that happen. You want to know why LeBron James is the GOAT? Because Cleveland watched him win their first championship in 52 years. If you're from Cleveland, where were you when you watched LeBron win his first championship? Or win the first championship in Cleveland in 52 years. That's why people are calling LeBron the GOAT. That's why people are saying that he's one of the best ever. That's why he's saying that he's the best ever. He came back from 3-1 to what people were saying was the greatest team ever assembled. That's why people are saying he's the GOAT, because of emotion, because of where they were when he won that championship. But at the same time, that same thing applies to Michael Jordan. That same thing applies to Kobe Bryant. That same thing applies to Shaq. Where were you when these boys won their championships? If you grew up a Kobe fan, Kobe is the greatest of all time to you because you watched him win 5 championships, and that was your dude. That's why. That's why people call these players the GOAT. It's emotion. Half of it don't have to do with skill. It don't have to do with stats. Yeah, Gambino on the Facebook page. Ghosts don't call themselves the GOAT, period. It's a different era, bro. You might be right. A lot of people had an issue with that. Had an issue with them calling themselves the GOAT. I didn't see it that big a deal. I just think it's going to bring more competition. I think guys like Russell Westbrook, Boogie Cousins, Kevin Durant, they're going to take that and be like, oh, that's what we on? Bet I'm coming at you. James Harden, I'll throw him in there. He got a little chip on his shoulder. I think it just means they're going to come at you a little harder. But at the end of the day, you can't argue what LeBron does. You can't argue how talented he is at basketball. He may be the greatest basketball player to ever touch a floor, but that doesn't make him the best winner this league has ever seen. That doesn't make him perfect in the finals. It's all about how you define GOAT. And in my opinion, how we define GOAT is all about where we're from. Listen, I'm from Chicago. Michael Jordan, in my eyes, until somebody else comes through Chicago or somebody else comes through and has a perfect finals, there is no argument on who the GOAT is. But can you have a GOAT when it's different eras? It all comes back to that. There is no GOATs. That's kind of what I'm getting at. There is no GOAT in basketball. It's too different. You could be the greatest of your era, but it's too different. It's way too different. You know what I'm saying? Steph Clutch. Ringo chiming in on the Facebook. I believe you can. I don't think you can, bro. Because the game is too changed. Greatest of your era, yeah. But that's not what people are talking about. GOAT is greatest of all time. That means there's no question. There's no question. And in all honesty, maybe we could call Mike the GOAT, because I don't think anyone ever questioned Mike until LeBron got in the league. But now there's questions. Now there's mad questions, bro. Could Michael come back from being down 3-1? Oh, Michael was never down 3-1. He never put himself in that position. There's always questions. And I believe because of that, you can't have GOATs in the NBA. That's just my opinion, though. We're live on Facebook. We're live on Instagram right now. Or we're live on YouTube right now on the Windy City Debris page. If y'all watching right now, make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all share the video. We appreciate it all. Yeah, Ringo, hurry back, man. That second seat ain't the same without you, man. It's just real empty. Can you have GOATs in this era? That's the question. That's the question. Do you believe in GOATs in this era? Kids see GOATs sometime. Kids see GOATs sometime. Kids see GOATs. Had to throw the Cuddy reference in there. Can you have GOATs in this era? I don't think you can do it with baseball either. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you can have it in baseball either. Because at the end of the day in baseball, who we saying is the greatest hitter of all time? Hank Aaron? Could Hank Aaron hit Clayton Kershaw? Could Hank Aaron hit guys that were throwing 100 every night? Every night? Every night you're looking at a guy that's throwing at least 90 on the black. You're looking at guys with 4 or 5 pitches. Could Hank Aaron hit that right now? Would he have his home run career like he's having right now? Not in baseball. Baseball's a team sport. That's Ringo on the Facebook. Basketball's a team sport. Basketball's a huge team sport. Who do you know has won a championship by himself? Even Bill Russell's team was stacked. What, 4 or 5 Hall of Famers on that team, is it? Something like that. Yeah, Mike Trout's up there, but the thing is with Mike Trout, maybe. But I think at the end of the day, it's just too different. This is a totally different era. Totally different era of baseball. Totally different era. And that's kind of the same argument. Could these guys do it back then? Different game. Totally different game. At the core, yes, it's the same. But I think it's a different game. I think that in basketball, same way, totally different game. Tough to have that GOAT argument, in my opinion. Tough to have that GOAT argument, in my opinion. And that's why I think that for LeBron to call himself the GOAT, a little premature, bro. Even if you are a little premature. Couple questions coming in. Why is it LeBron gets killed passing the basketball to teammates, make a miss? That's not what we come to see. Yeah, it's the right basketball move. That's just not what we coming to see. You know what I'm saying? Like, guys want to see you kill. Well, you got to understand, the greatest players in the league have been killers. LeBron is the first player, in all honesty, that's a good conversation too. LeBron is the first player that really, in my opinion, doesn't have that kill gene. LeBron doesn't have that kill gene. Kobe had it. Kobe knew at the end of the game he was going to be the one to kill you. Michael had it. I don't know if Magic had it, but I didn't watch a lot of Magic. We're live on Facebook, live on YouTube right now. Make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all subscribe. Make sure y'all share. Jordan passes Steve Kerr. Yeah, but at the same time, we've seen a lot of game-winning shots from Jordan where Jordan was the one that won you the championship, that got you to the next round, that was the one that said, I'm going to put this on the mantle. And at the end of the day, Jordan was the one that made the play call to say, listen, they're going to double-team me. I'm wide open. You're going to be wide open. Take the shot. So, again, Jordan making the call. We love to see killers. That's what it is. We love to see killers in this NBA. Michael was a killer. Kobe, killer. LeBron, a little passive. Makes the right play every time. Makes the right play every time. Very rarely do you see LeBron James make the wrong pass. Very rarely. But at the end of the day, we like to see killers, don't we? That's what we want to see. We want to see guys going in. The point is no one killed him for passing the ball. I don't think a lot of people were killing LeBron for passing the ball to Kyrie for making that shot either. Jasmine Thornton on the Facebook right now. Bron the GOAT. Maybe. Where were you when you watched him win? That's always my question. I think we base GOAT status off of where we were, the emotions we went through when we saw that championship. How many of Michael's championships did you watch? And listen, a lot of people, especially from Cleveland, if you actually watched Michael win championships, you hated Michael. The shot on Elo? You think people from Cleveland are calling Michael Jordan the GOAT? Hated Michael. The shot on Elo? Hated Michael. So if you're old enough to have actually watched Michael Jordan play, you're not going to be trying to call him the GOAT. Especially if you got LeBron now. Especially if you got LeBron now. Come on, bro. But I think that it's all based off of where you were when you watched it. That's the GOAT conversation. That's the GOAT conversation. Where were you when you watched Michael Jordan? Where were you when you watched LeBron James? Where were you when you watched Kobe Bryant? That's what it is at the end of the day. That's why we call these guys the GOAT. You know why I call Michael Jordan one of the greatest to ever do it? Because I'm from Chicago. Because it's Chi-Town, baby. And they say Chi-City. I'm coming home again. Shout out Kanye. Hello crazy, but his music fire. That's why we call people the GOAT. If you're from Cleveland right now, LeBron got you your first championship in 52 years? You've had to watch 52 years? You've had to watch the Browns? Had to watch the Indians choke? 52 years. Bron is the GOAT in their eyes. And you can't take that away from him. And I'm not hating on him for it. LeBron James is an amazing player. He's an amazing player. I don't understand the people that don't give credit where credit is due. LeBron James is amazing. What he can do with a basketball is a gift from God. He's amazing. At the same time, I wouldn't call him the GOAT. I'd call him the greatest of this era. Hell from the Clippers, GOAT. Sean Kamicha. Hey, Harold is hooping. I'm not mad at you. I wouldn't call him the GOAT. Have Clippers Lakers gone down yet? I feel like I missed that game. Who won that? Who won that one? Sebi Podcast on the YouTube. Shout out to you, bro. What's this about? It's all about who is the GOAT. Can you call LeBron the GOAT? I think the question at the end of the day is, how do you feel about LeBron calling himself the GOAT, being almost a self-proclaimed GOAT? Is that almost like giving yourself a nickname? Like you just show up one day and you just be like, hey, bro, they call me J Boogie. Nobody call you J Boogie. Your name is Jeremiah. Get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, is calling yourself the GOAT like a self-proclaimed nickname? And I don't have a problem with it. I want everybody to understand that. We live on YouTube, live on Facebook right now. If you watch it, please like the video. Please share the video. I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. I just thought it was an interesting conversation. I want to hop on here and have conversation, and y'all have given me that. I appreciate you for that. Y'all have shown me love, giving me mad conversation. Jasmine Thornton. Y'all talk about MJ like he's still playing. We know he was the GOAT of his era, but it's a new era. And that's the point. Shout out Jasmine Thornton. That's the point. We talk about Michael. You got to talk about NBA GOATs and eras. If you want to call them GOATs, call them GOATs. I don't care what you call them. But let me like that one real quick. I like that. People are getting it. Because this is the thing. You can't compare eras. Michael's the greatest player from his era. And who are these people? Hold up. I need to have a conversation with the NBA world right now. Who are these people that are saying Kobe wasn't the greatest from his era? I love this argument. Kobe wasn't the greatest from his era? I love that it's always the people that are on Twitter. It's always the trigger fingers turn to Twitter fingers. That's always out there. Oh, well, Shaq, and then it was David Robinson, bro. Talk to some of these Hall of Famers that played with Kobe, that watched Kobe. Talk to Michael Jordan to say that Kobe wasn't the greatest of his era. Talk to these guys. Talk to some Hall of Famers. They'll tell you who was the greatest from that era. I love that argument. Kobe wasn't the greatest from his era, bro. Shaq was clearly better. Shaq was unstoppable. Shaq is my favorite player. But to say Kobe wasn't the greatest from his era, come on, bro. But at the end of the day, you can't compare eras. That's what it's all about. I love the conversation. Like the video if you're watching on Facebook right now. Like the live if you're watching on YouTube right now. Share the video. We appreciate all the love. Make sure y'all follow Windy City The Breeze on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on SoundCloud. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Who can call themselves the GOAT in a world where eras are so different? I want y'all to chime in on this. I see people watching. Chime in on it. How can you call yourself the GOAT in a game that's so different? Who are your best three-point shooters from the 90s? Were they taking threes like these guys are taking today? I mean, honestly. I'm asking honestly. The game is different, bro. It's a totally different game. And at the end of the day, you can't compare the eras. And to the people that are trying to compare the eras, stop. Because you're always going to have argument from the other side. You're just stressing yourself out. There will never not be argument from the other side. To say that Michael Jordan couldn't dominate today, that's foolish. To say that LeBron James couldn't dominate back then, that's foolish. Because you just don't know. And when you have that GOAT conversation, you exclude a lot of greats out. You exclude out the Bill Russells. Nobody ever talks about Bill Russell as the greatest of all time. Nobody ever talks about Shaq as the greatest of all time. Nobody ever talks about, in all honesty, I don't hear a lot of people talking about Kobe that much unless you're on the West Coast. And that's a little shocking to me. You know what I'm saying? But you exclude so many names. Nobody talks about Kareem as the greatest of all time. Mike 5. What's the difference between LeBron saying he's the GOAT, then Rose saying in the MVPs and that he was the best MVP season that he was the best player in the league? They both think they were the best. It's their personal opinion. Nothing wrong about it. I never said anything was wrong about him giving his personal opinion. I just said you can't compare the eras. I love it. Y'all got to understand, I love it. I love that LeBron said it because you know what? It's going to make basketball better for me. It's going to make basketball better for me. It's going to make Russell Westbrook and James Harden and Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and who out east? Kawhi Leonard. It's gonna make those guys look at, oh, you the greatest of all time, huh? Oh, you the GOAT? 3-6, you the GOAT? Let's see how GOATy you are. Let's see how good you are. It's gonna make basketball better for me for the rest of this season. I don't care what LeBron said about it. I love when players come out with confidence and back it up. I love that. Y'all got to understand that I love that. But can you actually be the GOAT? That's what it comes down to. Can you actually be the GOAT? Well, we'd have been on here about an hour, almost an hour. I'm going to bring it to a close. I just loved having the conversation. I appreciate everybody for joining. If y'all want to, comment below. Comment below. Let me know what you feel about LeBron calling himself the self-proclaimed GOAT. Let me know. Shout out to Unc. Shout out to Vernell. Do you think D Rose is looking better now than he did in his MVP season? Absolutely not. That was an easy one. Absolutely not. D Rose was amazing in his MVP season only because he wore a Bulls jersey. Shout out to D Rose. Again, that's another one. I'm biased. I love D Rose. I'm biased. Y'all gotta understand. I love Chicago. I love the Bulls, and they say Shy City. I'm coming home again. Come on. Do you think about me now and then? That's the question. I'm finna get up out of here, y'all. Make sure y'all like the video. Make sure y'all subscribe to Windy City Debris on Facebook, on YouTube, on iTunes, on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube. Subscribe. We all over. We got a lot of stuff coming for y'all. I love doing these lives. I love interacting with the people. I love interacting with you guys. If y'all ever want to come over to the Facebook, we're live on Facebook at the same time. A little better video. Finna get up out of here real quick, man. It's your boy Pat the Designer. We appreciate all the love, man. I'll holla at you. Yes, sir.